Good evening, everybody. I will call our City Council meeting to order of March 10th. The first item on our agenda, please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Our next item is the open forum. Is anybody here to speak at the open forum tonight? Is anyone here for our open forum? Great. Seeing we have nobody here for our open forum, we will move to the approval of the minutes of the City Council work session of February 24th, 2020, and the City Council meeting of February 24th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes have been approved. The next item is a proclamation declaring March 10th, 2020 as Tibet Day. One second. Okay. I will go up to the dais, and then after I read the proclamation, I'll ask someone from your organization to come and speak a little bit about March 10th and the Tibetan community in Richfield. Okay. Proclamation of the City of Richfield. Whereas on March 10th, 2020, Tibetans will gather in their host countries to commemorate the 61st anniversary of the Tibetan National Uprising against the occupation of Tibet, and to honor more than 1 million Tibetans who have died in this struggle. And whereas the occupation and ongoing suppression of human rights and freedom in Tibet and the continuous degradation of culture, religion, economics, and the annihilation of the Tibetan people's identity should be a concern for all. And whereas Tibetan Buddhism and its spiritual leader in exile, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, are recognized for their teachings on compassion, forgiveness, and tolerance. And whereas the Tibetan American Foundation of Minnesota was founded in 1992 and has over 5,000 Tibetan community members, many of whom live in the city of Richfield, is committed to promoting and preserving the Tibetan culture, heritage, and religion. And whereas it is only fitting that we affirm the determination of the Tibetan people in Tibet and in exile to retain their heritage and protect it from the destruction against overwhelming odds and through nonviolence and peaceful means. Now, therefore, I, Maria Regan Gonzalez, Mayor of the City of Richfield, on behalf of the Richfield City Council, do proclaim March 10th, 2020 as Tibet Day in the City of Richfield, and call all of the people in Richfield to observe this day with appropriate programs, activities, ceremonies, and to continue to support our Tibetan community throughout the year. Proclaimed this 10th day of March 2020. So I would love to invite somebody from the organization to speak a little bit more about March 10th, about TAFM, about our Tibetan community here in Richfield. For many people who don't know, we have the second largest Tibetan community in Minnesota here in Richfield, and we are proud supporters and partners of your community. So is there someone that would like to come in and share a few words? Oh, sorry, you can come right up there. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Tenzin Tangson. I'm the current board member of Tibetan American Foundation, Minnesota. We also have the Tibetan American Foundation, Minnesota, Mr. President, Mr. Ngawan Shimi, and members of Tibetan American Foundation, also the residents of the Richfield. On behalf of the Tibetan community, I want to say that we are truly blessed to have the support from our local officials. As it always says, on the proclamation, This is the 61st year since Tibetan Inside Tibet had a peaceful protest against the Communist Chinese for the illegal occupation of Tibet. We are thankful for the City of Richfield for recognizing the Tibetan cause and proclaiming today as Tibet Day. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And this is, I think, it's the third year. Is it the third year or second year? Does anybody remember the third? The second year? Okay, the second year that we've done this here in Richfield, and we really appreciate your partnership. I'm wondering if the community members could come and take a photo with our city council. Is that fine? Thank you. We can do it right here, right in front. Just gonna do this. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, maybe. And I understand that it maybe was the first time for some folks coming today, and I know for others it was not the first time. We've had many people come and visit us, but know that this is your home here in Richfield City Hall, and that we're more than happy to, if there's presentations you would like to present to the city council or the community, we're more than happy to support that, and we appreciate all your work, and we're here to provide support to our residents in any way possible. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, and you know what? Actually, I'll give you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Want to give it to them?
Yes.
Oh, that's an extra.
Yes, we're supposed to keep one. We'll just wait a minute. Oops, can I borrow this? I don't know where my
Yeah,
pen
go
is.
ahead.
I
It's
must have
not
taken it.
mine.
Okay. Are there any council comments before I move to the next item? Nope. All right. Great. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda has been approved. The next item is the consent calendar, and that will go to City Manager Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the City Council in one motion. Once the individual items are approved, the consent calendar is approved. No further city council action is necessary. On tonight's consent calendar is item A, consider a resolution approving an agreement related to a previously approved planned unit development at 1401 77th Street East, Audi Richfield. Item B, consider the approval of the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Outdoor Recreation Grant Resolution to submit a grant for the universally inclusive playground at Augsburg Park and authorize staff to execute the grant agreement if awarded. I'm sorry, I submit these two items as part of the consent calendar tonight.
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
Any questions or council discussion? Councilmember Whalen.
I'll just make a comment since it's over on my in my ward. Just for anyone wondering what the change to the Audi planned unit development agreement, it's relating to the parking structure that they'd agreed to put in, giving them an extension that the current customer capacity is not requiring the parking ramp at this point, and so it's an extension to give them more time to establish their customer base, and will be coming in by 2025. So just for anyone wondering what the change is.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. Other questions or comments? I would just like to make a comment on item A as well. And this is just more of a general comment, but I know now we have two dealerships where we have to, there's plans for parking and just thinking about the future. So these are both kind of a case-by-case basis and different situations. But I think it's just a conversation that if something like this comes up in the future, I just want to learn more about, because I know we also have parking and the development of a future parking ramp as an issue also with the Honda dealership. So again, if this comes up in the future, just getting more context as and seeing if there's changes that we can make in future proposals, or if it continues to warrant a case by case with the parking. Other comments? All right, all in favor of the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The consent calendar has been approved. The next item will go to Councilmember Supple.
All right, this is a public hearing and a second reading of the transitory ordinance providing funding for special capital improvements from the Special Revenue Fund. So I'm going to read through the executive summary and then we'll open up the public hearing. As part of the capital improvement budget and annual annual city budget process, certain special revenue funds are allocated each year to fund capital projects identified through the budget process. At the February 11th, 2020 City Council meeting, the Council approved the first reading providing for the expenditure of funds from the Special Revenue Fund for certain capital improvements. The planned expenditures are as follows: $50,000 for major park maintenance projects and fence repair, $50,000 for community center Wood Lake building repair, $180,000 for Augsburg Park play equipment, $85,000 for Madison Park play equipment, $85,000 for Washington Park play equipment. The source of the special revenue funds are profits derived from the city's liquor store operations. These profits are transferred to the Liquor Contribution Special Revenue Fund. Before the funds within the Special Revenue Fund can be used for the identified capital projects, the city charter requires that a transitory ordinance be used to authorize the expenditure of the funds. In addition, the ordinance process allows for public input through a public hearing. Did staff want to add anything? All right, so this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to the matter? All right, I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak to the matter? All right, so it looks like no one is here to speak to the matter, so I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing has been closed.
All right.
And then
Then I will now at this point move to approve the second reading of the transitory ordinance providing for the expenditure of funds from the Special Revenue Fund for certain capital projects, improvements, excuse me.
Second.
Any council discussion? Councilmember Whalen?
I just want to highlight, I know it was in the summary, but if people did not know, our liquor stores, the profits there do support our parks, and that's what makes these improvements possible. So I don't think it's probably responsible to encourage you to go buy more liquor, but when you are going to buy liquor, I would encourage you to shop at our Richfield stores, and then you can pat yourself on the back the next time you go and use one of our many parks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Councilmember Whalen. Other discussion items? Nope. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion has been approved. Thank you very much. The next item will go to Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a motion to consider the second reading of an ordinance amending subsections 705.17, 715.05, and 720.07 of the Richfield City Code relating to sanitary sewer, water, and stormwater utility billing, stormwater utility billing, and an establishment of a new section 727 relating to the streetlight system. And so as of January 28th, 2020 City Council work session, staff presented the City Council to consider the implementation of owner-only utility billing, and at the present time, the city's utility billing system has been set up to generate utility bills by customer or account number, and not by property owner and property identification or PIP number, PID number. The implementation of owner-only utility billing would require a change in the city ordinance sections that relate to utility billing. If approved, staff would communicate the change to owner-only utility billing through the most current utility cycle, the most current utility cycle billing, and then implement the change in the next utility cycle billing. The City Council approved the first reading on February 25th, 2020, at the City Council meeting. Do we have any comments from staff?
No comments.
Thank you.
All right, I'll just note for folks at home that the rationale behind this was really to free up staff time, and then for property owners to have clearer expectations and be able to understand if bills got high or anything like that would come to them right away. And so, with that being said, I would move we approve the second reading of an ordinance amending subsections 705.17, 715.05, and 720.07 of the Richfield City Code relating to sanitary sewer, water, and stormwater utility billing, and establishment of a new section 727 relating to the street light system.
Second.
Any council discussion items? All right. All in favor? Aye. The motion has been approved. Thank you very much. The next item will go to Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is to consider a resolution providing for the sale of $5,375,000 in general obligation bonds, Series 2020A. The Series 2020A bonds will accomplish the following. First, provide the second phase of funding for the Lyndale Avenue reconstruction project with a $3,120,000 par bond. Debt service for this portion of the bond issue will be provided by an estimated annual debt service tax levy of $201,511. The estimated increase in taxes for a residential property valued at $225,000 is $12.42. Second, the series would provide funding for the 65th Street water main lining in preparation for future reconstruction of 65th Street with a $1,235,000 par bond. Debt service for this portion of the bond issue will be provided by water revenues. The last that this series will do is to refund the 1,480,000 water revenue bonds series 2011A with 1,025,000 par bond. The refunding of the series 2011A bonds with the series 2020A refunding will provide estimated interest savings of $132,260 over the remaining life of the bonds. Debt service on the new bond will continue to be water revenue bonds. And would staff like to add anything for this one?
No, I think the bond will serve a good purpose. It'll tackle three things, so I think it's a good idea.
I'll just say thank you to staff for always looking out for opportunities like that third one when we can essentially refinance and save some money for our taxpayers. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the attached resolution providing for the sale of 5,375,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2020A.
Second.
Any council questions or comments? In this staff report, the historical context for this item is really helpful. So if you do want to get a little more information on this, the historical context section really breaks down the whole process, what the project and the funding is focusing on, and how the financing works. So if people want a little more detail, that's a great place to review. Councilmember Supple.
And I do want to highlight that I think it's really important that we're relining our water mains so that we can keep them operational and that and I guess extends the life of those water mains. So I think that's really, really important.
Absolutely. It's clear that this is, essential infrastructure that we really need to maintain and continue working on. Other comments? All right. All in favor? Aye. The resolution has been passed. Thank you. The next item is the city manager's report. City Manager Rodriguez with the city manager's report.
Mayor.
Great. Thank you. The next item is claims and payroll, and that goes to Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I've noticed that when other people do claims and payroll, that they're really improving. So I'm going to feel confident when I leave later on. So, but I didn't want to move claims and payroll. It's very, very important to people we do business with and people we work with.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Claims and payroll has been approved. The next item is hats off to Hometown Hits. I don't think we've started with Councilmember Garcia for a while, so why don't we start with you?
Okay, I don't know that I have all that much, but as the weather is getting warmer and nicer out, you start to see, people that stuff out in your curb, in your all over the place, because people walk and they disregard, items, and the snow melts, and then you see all of this dirty stuff. Also, I wanted to say, if you live on a corner and you have a drainage, I don't know what it's called. It's a drainage.
Storm drain?
Storm drain.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a good idea to because it's up to the property owner to go and clean that out so that it doesn't gather all kinds of branches and limbs and leaves and just stuff people generally throw. So keep that in mind, that's important, and it helps the city, and it's a responsibility that we all, as good citizens, should take care of. Let's see. I also wanted to mention, we're all talking about the coronavirus, and there is all kinds of information from city, from county, from the state, from national level. Let's and it's all good information. So let's follow the suggestions that they have for us without mentioning it over and over again, so that we can stay safe and we can stay healthy. And let's take care of each other. If you know someone that is ill or can't go anywhere or whatever, or they might need somebody to pick up their prescription, or they might need somebody to pick up some groceries or whatever, it's probably a good idea to stay away from large crowds and just generally take care of each other.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Troutman?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have two announcements tonight. One, I want to take my hats off to our Richfield our basketball semi champs. So they advanced our men's varsity advanced past the semifinals into the finals, and they'll play the Academy of Holy Angels at 7:00. I believe it's at Jefferson, and so come out and support the Spartans. Also, we have April 24th coming up. We have our Friends of Woodlake fundraising dinner, and so that's the big fundraiser every year for Woodlake. And if you have something of value that you would like to donate, every year we have a silent auction. And so whether you're a small business and you have a service you can contribute, or you have something of value, that art, athletic event tickets, something that you feel like you could contribute, the Woodlake Nature Center is accepting those contributions over the next month.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutman. Councilmember Whalen?
Thank you, Mayor. A few things. One, want to give a shout out to our city clerk, Beth Van Hoos, for a very long day on our presidential primary, but with her and then all of our election judges did some great work that day, and thank you to everyone who came out and voted. Couple recent events I was able to attend. Thank you to Jewish Community Action and Setul, and a couple other groups who hosted a forum addressing the housing needs and the needs of protection for construction workers. I know Councilmember Troutman was one of the speakers, and they're both issues that our city's been working to address, and just recently had a work session on the worker protections. But thank you to them for continuing to raise those issues and look out for both tenants and construction workers. Also want to give a shout out to the Richfield Ready Committee for hosting their annual breakfast last week or 2 weeks ago. This is a gathering for anyone and everyone working to support children in our community, and had some great presentations on mental health and food insecurity and what we can do to address those. Couple things coming up. I've had a few residents asking about, we in January had a housing work session that was very big picture and visionary. We've got our next housing work session on this coming Monday, the 16th at 5:45 before the HRA meeting. And so would invite people to come to that, and we'll be talking more specifics. And then another opportunity is related to the Portland and 494 intersection, and that area, March 23rd and March 26th. That week we've got some, we're accepted into a great program where we'll get some professional insight and input into how to design that area for the future, and really is dependent on community input, especially from the residents living right there. So I'd encourage you, March 23rd in the evening, there'll be a meeting here, and then March 26th, there'll be a meeting at a local church on the Bloomington side. So that was a lot, but that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. Councilmember Supple?
Thank you. I just want to echo what Councilmember Whalen said, to thank the clerk and all of the election judges for all the work they did in the primary, which very much appreciated. Also, I've gotten a couple of emails to please ask me to remind you all that we have beautiful, beautiful parks. But as the snow melts, it becomes apparent that it's really important that if you're walking your pets to please clean up after your pets. So your fellow residents would love it if you take care of your dogs, anything they leave behind at in our beautiful parks.
Councilmember Supple, what about Harriet? Do you do that when you walk her?
Yes.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Also, the Arts Commission just spent a lot of time reading poems. It was great. Over 80 poems were submitted for the Sidewalk Poetry Contest, and they're still narrowing down the selections. So we had lots of adult and youth poems that were submitted, so I'm looking forward to seeing who wins. The Human Rights Commission is now opening up the Jean and Mary Jacobson Outstanding Citizen Award. The website will be updated shortly, but if you can start thinking of people that you would like to nominate, the nominations are due by Thursday, April 30th. So start thinking of people that are outstanding citizens that make our life in Richfield better. And finally, I also received some emails asking that we remind people to please be mindful of speeds on residential streets and consider the safety of all of your friends and neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Supple. A couple announcements. Well, one announcement is residents will be receiving their census invitation forms next week. So everyone, remember, this is a census year, absolutely crucial for the future of our state, of our city, of our entire country. The census ends up determining the research, the funding, and so many different things moving forward in terms of allocations that our city gets. So we have a great complete census count group that is headed up by Blanca, our staff here in Richfield, and there is a community group that is leading the efforts, making sure that we are dispelling myths, we're helping people understand what the census is about, the impact it has, and helping everybody get involved in the census. And we invite everyone on Wednesday, April 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. to the community center. You'll be able to fill out your census with census workers there, get all your questions answered, but it is the National Census Kickoff Day, and we will be celebrating that on April 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. at the community center. So please fill out your census. Please remind your family members, everybody you know, to please fill out that census. And the city of Richfield has whatever resource you need to help answer any questions you may have. Councilmember Garcia.
Oh, well, I just had one.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Oh,
No, go ahead.
okay. No, I just wanted to thank our city manager, Katie Rodriguez, because we've been working together for it's been a year, and it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of personalities, constituents, and certainly the council is not easy to work with. But we are planning for the future, always trying to do a better job in the service delivery department, always trying to do a good job in terms of our fiscal ability, that we're sound, and always reaching out and trying to find ways to work with people, communicate with people. And in a few weeks, you'll be getting your newsletter from the council, and I just wanted to let Katie know that we do appreciate you, and you don't have to pay me, because I really mean it.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. I did want to remind everybody that the Recreation Services Program Guide came out recently. It is full of so many activities that the city of Richfield is hosting over the summer months. There's a lot of classes. There's adult programming, there's programming and events and activities at the Ice Arena, Wood Lake Nature Center, special events. It shares about how you can rent our facilities, our park shelters if you want to have a picnic or an event, general information, and then programming. We have programming for seniors, bless you, programming for seniors and youth as well. So please don't forget to look through your recreation services program guide. And registration is now open for things coming up in the future. And there's really great stuff. Just the list of entertainment in the park, movies in the park, more information about our farmers market. So there's so many great things for all of our residents to take part in. So please take a moment to look through that. I also want to echo the huge thanks to our city clerk, to our staff that were involved in our elections last week, as well as to our election judges and who are all volunteers. And just so residents have an understanding of what it takes, running an election every single time is a very, very big undertaking, and it requires many people participating. And one of the things that has been difficult, and it's not just in Richfield, it's all over, is really finding the election judges that we need. Again, these are volunteer residents who are helping out, and they put long hours in and long days. So I'm absolutely requesting that our community come together and support our elections. We have a huge election in November, but not just in November, every single election. We need residents to step up, community members to step up and help volunteer and to become election judges. We need election judges who are multilingual, who can support our residents with disabilities, who can make sure that our election spaces are easy to navigate and welcoming and accessible for all of our residents. And that takes an entire community, not just staff, to make that happen. So it's a very concrete way to make a big impact in our community, is to sign up and be an election judge. So please consider that. Please share that with your groups. We need all types of people to help us out. Last Tuesday, I know our city clerk had a 19-hour day, and a lot of staff and volunteers put countless hours in to make sure that happened. Some of our volunteers who were trained and signed up unfortunately didn't show up, which then meant that our volunteers who were there didn't necessarily have time for breaks or even a lunch break. So we did also have an excellent turnout. But I did want to walk folks through what it takes to run an election, because we do not see so many times what's going on behind the scenes and what it takes to run our elections. And it really does take people power from our community and staff. So once again, thank you to our city clerk, thank you to the election judges, and for everyone involved. And we are asking people to please help us in getting more election judges for our future elections. And then let's see here. Councilmember Garcia already mentioned this last item, but please do be looking out in your mailboxes for the City of Richfield's annual review that will be coming out, and that is the annual review of the activities and the things that the City of Richfield has been doing in the last year, so 2019. So please check your mailboxes for that. And I had one question, City Manager Rodriguez. The community survey is out and folks can access that online. Could you share could you just remind us again about that?
Yeah, so you can find the link on our website, and it is an opt-in, and so you can complete it. Anyone can complete it. We would hope it would be residents, but and it will be on our website and live until March 20th.
March 20th.
Correct. But if you have gotten a mailed survey, please do that and do not fill it out online, because that's the randomly sampled, statistically valid survey. And so the results from both surveys, those that were mailed out and those that folks are doing online, that data will be kept separate.
Great. So just a reminder to folks, there is a community survey out. We have not had a community survey out for many, many years in the city of Richfield, and it is more of gauging where residents are at with the city services and the work of the city of Richfield, and that is really going to help us guide our future priorities, make changes that we need to make sure that our residents are happy. So there is a statistically significant part that's going to go out via mail, and then folks can also fill it out online. All right, I think we're ready to wrap up. So I will adjourn the meeting, seeing we have no other business. Thank you.